It's a lovely day today. We are leaving Bakersfield. We're heading up through the Kern Canyon here. Some of you might remember the other day, maybe a couple weeks ago, we were coming through here and we had a lot of water coming out that overflow there. And pretty sure there's a pipeline that runs from way up at the pump house up here all the way down to here, and it's like a discharge, and it's not doing it today. So, and the river's really down to a trickle right now. It's just pretty much, they've got it shut all the way off right now. This canyon is pretty dangerous. It's got a lot of rock slides in here, especially when it rains. As you can see, there's rock everywhere. There's rock here. Here's the pump station. It's really not much of an elevation change from down there at the bottom, but I guess it is high enough where they might run a pipeline out of here and somehow through the mountain to come out of that discharge back there. I don't know. Maybe it's further up. If anyone knows anything about that, throw it in the comments. Could see that water coming down through there. That's nothing compared to what it was doing a while back. It's still flowing a little bit. The rock formations are something else. if the weather's nice enough and it's not too windy, I think I might take you guys out to the Olancha Ranch, and we'll just take another quick tour. We've been out there before, but maybe take a little quick tour of that spot out there. More interesting cloud formations here. So here we are, guys, the beautiful, quaint little town of Olancha here. Look at these views of the Sierra Nevada range here, up towards Whitney. And right here is the famous beef jerky spot, Gus's Beef Jerky. And back here is Olancha Ranch, which is our little piece of heaven out here in the high desert. So those of you that don't know the story here, we bought this property as a solar prospect about 5 years ago. And we actually eventually got a solar company to come in and sign a lease on the property itself, which is a very, very good lease. And we're probably going to continue to pursue that because it's just such a good deal for us. But it's about a 4-year process to get that done. And so in the meantime, we've got 4 years still left to try and utilize this place in some way, shape, or form. So what I came up with was these camping platforms that are elevated platforms made out of wood. And we strategically place those out throughout the property. And then people can come out and rent a campsite, a group campsite, which may have anywhere from 3 to 5 of these elevated platforms. You know, you get a group of people together. It's got a burn pit for barbecuing. We're gonna have water. We have a communal bathroom and stuff like that. And yeah, just it's a place to gather with friends and camp. The views are just to die for. You can see back there. When I get out, I'll show you more. But also, there's actually a solar farm over this way right there. That's an existing solar farm that is just to the south of our property. And these high transmission lines are on the west side of the property. So basically all out there, that whole flat, it's about a mile by a mile, is the Olancha Ranch. So I'm gonna try to get out there close enough. We might take a little walk, let the dogs out. It's not windy today, so that's pretty nice. And maybe I can show you guys some of the proposed locations for the camp. Well, we picked a perfect day to stop, guys, and just look at these views. So this is a diamond in the rough, guys. You have to understand that. This is gonna be the main headquarters. I got a well here. The water's phenomenal out here, okay? It's actually known for the water out here. Crystal Geyser, their that brand of water, their facility is just right up the way here, a couple miles up the road. So this this would be the camp host headquarters where everybody would check in. And like I said, just try to see the potential here. It needs a lot of cleanup. This building's actually really close to being a lost cause, but I still, every time I come out here, I just kind of, it's been sitting for quite some time, but I think we can salvage it. And that plywood's not too awful bad to where we couldn't even sheet right over the top of this stuff. And obviously somebody took this window, which is a shame. It's got a really thick foundation here. I mean, look at all this cool furniture in here, guys. What do you think? But this thing was actually built fairly modern. It's been sitting for, I don't know, 7-8 years. I could definitely save this. And I'm, you know, if I move forward with this project, my plans are to get the Plow Brother team together, get all the guys. We're going to come out here. We're going to clean this thing out. I'm going to finish it out. I'm going to get the windows all put back in the way they go. And we would do a solar, fully solar battery system on this as well. The guy that had it before, well, the guy that, he's a friend of mine. And this is actually a property that butts my property to the south. So I've been talking to this guy about utilizing his property along with ours if we do this. As you can see, he was going to build quite a bit more. He had some foundation, some forms set up, plumbing, everything. He spent a lot of money here, and it's really a shame to see it all go to waste the way it has. I'm going to ditch all of this because it's just too far gone. But this structure here, believe it or not, is it's still sound. And you can see how thick the foundation is there. It's very thick. So it's going to take some elbow grease here to get this thing where it needs to be. But if you're an optimist like me, you could see the potential in it. And I think it's going to work great with our little idea of the off-grid camping. So I got 4 years to well, really I have about a year to get this thing up and running, and then 3 years of operation before my property's going to turn into this over here. So, but why not get and who knows, I mean, if it's always a good thing to have something to fall back on just in case maybe something changes with the solar moving forward, and this turns out to be the breadwinning idea for out here. But look at this view. I mean, waking up to this view is just amazing. All right, so I'm going to take you guys over and show you some of the potential campsites and kind of give you a feel for it. Let me know in the comments what you think, if this is going to be a good idea or not. I think it's going to be a good idea. But I've had a lot of people tell me it's not a good idea. But the way I see it, if I can spend very little capital and turn this into something that actually makes money, that makes sense to me. So that's kind of the idea here. There was quite a bit of water out here, and there's 4 wells on this property. Here's one here. This was all underwater for quite some time. We got quite a bit of rain, and you can see this is not a good place to camp right here. Isn't that cool how it did the dirt like that? It's pretty neat. Again, that's your view that you wake up to. But We're gonna make our way north to our place. It's where everything kind of turns into more of the sand, these sand dunes. And a lot of the property around the perimeter has these dunes with all these contours. And then in the center, it's pretty flat. But here on the outside edges have a lot of these contours. It's pretty cool. So this is the west property line here. And south fence line there. And then this property continues on a mile that way by a mile that way. But over here on the west end of the property, where I'm talking about is where all the contours. And then also back on the east end of the property, there's a lot of Joshua back there and a lot of contour, which I'll get to a spot and I'll show you the idea. And then you guys can tell me if I'm crazy or not. So it's a true off-grid hiking experience or camping experience. You check in at the main headquarters where the camp post will be. You leave your vehicles there. That's where the parking lot will be. And you pack in, which so far we've walked, I don't know, half a mile. So it'll be anywhere from half a mile to a 2 mile hike to get to your campsite. Okay guys, so here, right over there, that could be a potential site there. It's not really out of the wind like I would like. This site right here, so I'm talking about platform with a fire pit, you know, like a nice little site. As we get further over this direction, we get more into the contours. You can see we've got these ancient riverbeds that have run down through here. This is all this ground is like prehistoric type ground. And the bulk of the property is all this flat out here. This is all pretty flat. The very back side at the foothills there, it's about a mile from where we're standing, is where the Joshua trees start back up, and it has a lot of contour kind of similar to this, but it also has those Joshua trees too, which is very cool. So it would be on the west side, which is where we're at now, and then on the east side would be the two camping locations, and each area would probably encompass close to 100 acres with leaving about 400 acres in the middle open. So it could be one of the things where we still do the solar project, but you know, I don't think it's going to be both. I think it's going to be one or the other. So here's another potential site here. It's nice and flat, and I mean, the views are just unbelievable right here. Well, you can see the highway over there. At night, it feels like you can reach out and touch the stars here. That's one of the beauties of this area. It's just so crystal clear at night. And for stargazers, anybody like that, off-grid guys that want to go camping and just get away from towards that way's Death Valley. And it's no man's land. This is no man's land. Sadium bud, they love it. So we could actually incorporate an OHV experience as well, which would be you know, like the side-by-sides, kind of like what we have at the other place, or the dirt bikes. I'm thinking more of the side-by-side out here. There's just miles to explore both directions, and there's plenty of ways to get all up through here and explore pretty much wherever you want to go. here you have it, guys. You've got like this upper plateau here. You got a lower one there. You got one over there, one over there. And these are not right on top of each other. They're gonna be spaced out. So they're gonna have their own privacy. This was a spot that I really like here. It's got this dune that we're up on now. And then this whole little area right here, you would clear out and make this a nice little spot. It's got a good wind protection here. So we're up about, I don't know, 30 plus feet above that elevation there. So there is some contour to this along this west border, which is what I really like about it. It's got these little nooks and crannies that you can put the camping spaces down in here. So here's some lower ground here that you can see it gets some protection down here out of the wind. That's a backdrop. Typically you're gonna have the wind coming out of the west when it does blow. So these little bowls that have kind of created here are nice little wind protection in those circumstances when it does get windy, which I'll be honest, it gets windy out here quite often. So it's not like that's not something you're gonna run into out here. You're definitely gonna run into it. Today's just a beautiful day. No wind to speak of. And once you get down in this low ground, it really kind of feels like you're protected down here. You kind of get down below the main level of what the property is. So now we're gonna kind of make our way back out to the flat ground to the east and head back to the truck. But hope you guys enjoyed the tour of the Olancha potential campsite areas. This ground here is pretty firm. You can see water at certain times was standing here. But yeah, that's the dune we were on over there. Got some other really cool dunes features over here that just continue on all the way up the west side of the property. So I think that's where we're going to start, is on the west side. There is some very cool spots on the east. I mean, those Joshua trees really make it neat back there. They kind of start up at the base of these hills, and so you'll start getting into those. And yeah, I'd make some camping spots near some of those clusters, just because it's a cool place to camp. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed coming out to my property out here in Olancha, California. Really peaceful and quiet today out here too. So it was a nice change of pace for me on my way back up to Mammoth here. Took a little hike out, got to see some potential campsites, and that'll get my wheels turning for future projects out here, doing some stuff out here. And look up Hip Camp if you guys haven't heard of Hip Camp. This place was actually on Hip Camp. I had it on there 3 or 4 years back. I had a lot of interest in the property for camping, but I wasn't ready, and I still am not ready. I've got to get some kind of infrastructure done. So the bunkhouse or headquarters, whatever you want to call it. We got to get that kind of whipped into shape, even if it's just a place where we can bring a toy hauler out and actually stay in the toy hauler and then use the main building as an office for right now. But these fractured where this water was standing is really pretty cool. It's pretty neat. It's real prehistoric looking. And yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments.